Ishkaran, I've got a very interesting question for you. Um, you have been involved in a lot of women should have asked this question, but I'm asking on behalf of all women. You've been involved in uh, a lot of women-centric cases, especially justice for Nirabhaya murder and rape case, Sunanda Pushkar's murder case. So tell us more about these cases, especially for Nirabhaya case, where the most brutal was Juvenile, and he was set free because of his age. Shouldn't it be the age of the person? Shouldn't it be the crime of the person which should determine the punishment, not the age? And also about Sunanda Pushkar, do you think she will get justice? So what are your thoughts about it?
Answer both of them. On Nirbhaya, I got into the case because when that happened, I saw an entire lobby saying 18 in India used to be the cutoff date. No matter what sort of crime you did, no matter how heinous the crime is, if you are 18, below 18 by even 2 days, 1 day, you won't be punished. By punished, I mean a normal punishment. You will not be punished. So when Nirbhaya happened and this thing started, I did not like it at all. So I went to Dr. Swamy. It's still not live, I think. When I saw that, I went to Dr. Swamy. I said, this is not right. And Dr. Swamy was said, yeah, this is not right. And let's file a case on this. And so he was the lead petitioner, obviously. And I became a co-petitioner with him in this. The basic premise was that laws in UK, US, Europe, they see the crime and then they correlate it with the age. In the sense, supposing you are 17 years and 6 months and you did a heinous gang rape, you would get the full punishment. In India, it was a knee jerk or like a cutoff line with no nexus with the crime done. So supposing a boy in school at 16 or 17 punches somebody, that somebody breaks a teeth, tooth, that somebody breaks an arm, the boy doesn't get punished because that is a schoolyard fight. That is not the same as a brutal gang rape. They are two fundamentally different things.
Sure.
School fight, understandably, you don't want to send that sort of a child in normal course. I'm not saying something very deviant school fight, a normal school fight. In normal world, that would be assault, maybe a grievous assault if a bone was broken. But you do not want to send a 16-year-old to jail or a 17-year-old to jail because he had a schoolyard fight. But the gang rape is completely different, and that's what the world recognizes. India did not recognize it. So a case was filed in the Juvenile Board, then it went to High Court, then it went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court delayed the Juvenile Board proceedings for this particular juvenile, heard the matter at length, and in the end, it said there are two issues with this. One, law is very clear on this, that we can't have ex post facto changes. That is, after the crime, you cannot increase the punishment. Right. And that is a very sound principle. Supposing today talking on this forum is not a crime, right? Tomorrow the government cannot say it is a crime and then punish us backdated or anything. Okay. Some business transaction you do and that's not a crime today. Tomorrow the tax law could change. That could become a penal offense. But it will be from the day the tax law changes, not backdating it. And second, they said Parliament has to do it. But luckily, Maneka Gandhi ji was the minister. We approached her and she changed the law. So in that case, the case eventually succeeded because what the court said, that this needs a thorough rethink, and the government did do a thorough rethink, and they changed the law. And now, if you are above 16 but below 18, the Juvenile Board, consisting of a judge, a psychologist, child expert, takes into consideration the type of crime and then decides, do you get protection of juvenile law or do you not get the protection of juvenile law? So they have put a judicial process rather than an absolute statute, a bar that, bhai, no, you will not be treated for your crime. So that great change has come.
That's fantastic, and that's kudos to you and both Swamy ji. Thank you very much for that. We outside India get asked this. There is this misrepresentation of India, and especially Delhi, as rape capital. of the world. Statistics say completely otherwise. There are other countries where women are unsafe, more rapes happen per capita population. But I don't want to go into the stats. That is not the point. As a woman, I want to know how can we make it safe for the last woman, a person who's returning from work at 10 p.m. and a person who is working in broad daylight on an office floor, as a TV presenter, a model, or an office worker. There are two things to it. It's not as bad. Am I correct in saying that in terms of stats, it's not as that bad? And B, how can we make it safer? There's no dearth of law. There's a problem with execution. So where do you come in through there?
Without getting into the stats, certain times what happens is that a branding gets done of a particular country, in fact, I won't say a city, for various reasons. Stats are a matter of data, and anybody can see what the stats say, so I will not waste the time of the audience on that. What is required, even if we have low stats, even one case is a case too much. But that is something the entire world has to also grapple with, and India has to. So I'll talk in India's specific context. Crime, not only women crime, crime with old people, crime with children, crime of all sorts is a part of society. How best can we reduce it and how far can we reduce it is what our effort has to be. And in this, I would say, see, our culture, where you have to pray for money, you pray to Goddess Lakshmi. Where you have to pray for knowledge, you pray to Goddess Saraswati. Where you have to pray for fighting, Shakti, you pray to Durga Ma. Or various forms. And so all feminine forms of the three most, let's say, if God was the Prime Minister, the super important cabinet positions are with women. And have always been with women in India, which is not the case in many other religions. I will not go more specific, but that's not the case with many other religions. And that is also a data point. That's an absolute fact. So Indians were worshipping women. Indians recognized women as a superior force in many, many fields. And we have to go back to that sort of thinking, because end of the day, we need to teach our kids that while you keep on aping the West and Westernization, and you have these Instagram and these chat rooms. I had the president of Delhi Psychologist Society, a very prominent psychologist, on this. There's this chat room on Instagram where people were talking a lot of smart young boys in school about young girls, and you know what sort of Instagram chat room was there: gang rapes, this, that. God knows what all modern lingo they have, which I don't even understand, but it is all a lot of smart. So rather than going that route, we have to tell and create a social awareness starting very young that we pray to women. We have prayed to women. So please, in your quest of Westernization, don't go into directions which are not required. Please come back to what your roots are as a social endeavor. Understand that women have in India been prayed to as goddesses, and goddesses also of the most powerful, if I may use common term, cabinet minister, or if you are a board of director, controlling your finance, controlling your PR, controlling your HR, controlling your defense. So that is the position, and that's unique. That's unique. So let's appreciate that, propagate that, plus local policing steps which have to be taken, that a good administration has to do. So vote sensibly, get a good administration which does take these steps.
True.